What is going on? This is Walks Buckeye Talks. We're back with another edition of the recap of the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Penn State Nifty Lions. Man, super excited, right? Happy with the win. Wasn't pretty, but it was us. That's why I describe this team. It's just they just gritty. They gritty, man. But before I get it started, man, like, share, subscribe, comment. Any type of feedback would be greatly appreciated. Let's dive into it, man. The Buckeyes, big top 10 matchup, our second one. So we had to go on the road to South Bend. So we were a little bit battle tested, and it showed today. It really showed, man. You just could tell everybody was real poised. That defense seemed like they've been there before. Top 10 matchup, and Penn State looked like they haven't been there, man. I spoke on the last analysis that um, they really didn't play anybody. It's just the truth. Yeah, we can look on film and they look amazing, but until you battle tested in the trenches, until you down in the fourth, or you got to make a comeback, or you got to put some big time throws together, or get in that end zone, like you don't know until you know. And I think that was the key point in that game yesterday, that the Buckeyes just looked more battle tested. They were prepared, that Notre Dame game, prepared, honestly, that Maryland game, prepared, just when you face adversity early, you can overcome it. Just a great team effort, man. And let's dive into it, man. Let's get involved with my boy Kyle McCord. Been hearing a lot of stuff about Kyle McCord since his win. A lot of people are not really happy with the performance, but all we can say, man, is hey, he's a winner. He's finding a way to get the job done. He's not perfect, uh, but he's still undefeated. And this team is I said it long before. This is going to be a defensive led team who's going to rely on a run. Now, I got the first part right. This is a defensive team, but we have to get that running game together. I think if we had a solid running game, we would help Kyle McCord out so much. Just because you need that as a young quarterback, especially early in the game. Defense is changing and making adjustments. But all in all, man, I thought Kyle McCord had a pretty okay day. I believe, and we got the stats here. He was 22 of 35, 286, one touchdown. He probably should have had like almost 400 yards. He missed a lot of throws, missed a lot of wide open guys. Probably should have had another touchdown. But uh, but hey, you got to give credit when credit's due, man. And for another top 10 matchup at home, he made some key throws late in the game. He found Marvin Harrison. He found K Stover. He got a good rhythm. And it seemed like that's what he is, man. It seemed like it takes him a while to get going. But once he start making his throws and stepping into the pocket, he needs to stop. I think once he drives the ball and steps into the pocket, he's a so much better quarterback. I feel like sometimes he just plays like he's still unsure of himself, like he's still second guessing himself. But I thought he handled himself for the most part, and I don't understand the slack, man. He's undefeated. We gotta stop doing this in Buckeye Nation. I see this a lot. I see this with our DNs. I see this with our running backs. The players who came and went and have great careers, and you got new players, you can't expect them to be like them. Like we did it with Stroud, like, right? We said, man, Stroud is not Justin Fields, man. Stroud is not Justin Fields. I wish he would run. I wish he would do this. We never appreciated CJ Stroud. Now when CJ Stroud is gone, now we compare, man, McCall's not CJ. He doesn't have those are special players. Special players come once every blue moon, just like JT, and what I saw with Zach Harrison. You see it with Jack Sawyer, all the ends. The Bosa brothers and Chase Young are special players, and those might be even generational players. And those come like once every generation, you know. Now, in retrospect, generations could be 5 years, 6 years, whatever, but those are special type of players. Kyle McCord is never going to be CJ. He's never going to be Justin Fields. He's never going to be Dwayne Haskins. McCord just has to be Kyle McCord. He has to perfect his craft, find out what works for him in the game, and then he has to read the defense better and just sling it. That's it. I hate that every game that he wins is always critique, critique. Didn't we learn anything about CJ Stroud? CJ Stroud used to get critiqued so much after every game. Now he's gone. Now he's the best thing since sliced bread. Like I hate that about our fans. I hate that about the football in general because we do that a lot to players. I hate that. Kyle McCord at the end of the day, he went on a road to beat Notre Dame a top 10 matchup, and he just beat another top 10 opponent who statistically wise had the number one defense, right? So he did turn over the ball. We got a blessing when the fumble touchdown got turned back because he's trying to do too much. But all in all, we got the job done. That's all that matters is this win and survive. I hear all this talk, man. It's going to catch up to us. It might. We're all human. It might catch up to us. We might drop one. I don't know. But right now, man, I get Kyle Core performance probably like a B. I feel like this is another top 10 matchup where I feel like we still wasn't perfect, but we found a way, but we left a lot of food on the table. Like I think the score was 20-12. It really wasn't that close. I'm hearing all these people saying, well, Ohio State was there for the taking. Penn State just played bad. No, we should have beat Penn State by, we should at least put up 20, 30 points easy. Easy. Like that we left on the table, just like Notre Dame. I thought Notre Dame, we left at least 14 points on the table. Penn State, I feel the same way. I think we left at least 20 points on the table against Penn State. So that's that's a positive in my opinion, right? Because you can get better. We can get better. And that's the beauty of offense. If offense can you can get in a good groove, a good gel, and it just works, man. It's like everything is clicking, everything is working. And we haven't got that yet. So I'm looking forward to maybe the second half of the season. We find our groove before, we got Wisconsin who's gonna be a headache. We got Rucker who's gonna be a headache early on just because they just gonna give us so much fight. Then we got two games where I don't think should be able to execute and take care of them by halftime is Minnesota and uh and Michigan State before the game. So hopefully our offense gets some gelling going on and just got to get confident. You got to continue strolling, got to continue working. On the other hand, Drew Aller, man, I feel bad for the kid. I like that he owned up to it in the press conference afterwards. That's a lot of character right there. I'm big on high character people, man, and I think that showed a lot of high character. He's gonna be a special player in the future, but it just wasn't his day, man. That Buckeye defense was just wicked, man. It was just wicked. He had the day. He was 18 of 42, 191, one touchdown. But I mean, a lot of that, probably majority of that was probably in garbage time when we was on prevent defense. He just didn't have a good day. He had a lot of errant throws, not accurate, But once again, when you don't play big time matchups early on, and you don't go on the road early and challenge your teams, this is what can happen. He's just like Cal McCord. He's even though he played last year, he's technically a first year starter. He's learning. He has to stack days. That doesn't mean he's a bust or he's not good. It's just when you go on a roll like Cal McCord did, and he won. You see the difference. It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. Cal McCord could have had that same thing happen in Notre Dame, and we would have lost. We would have got blew out, but that didn't happen. He kept the he managed the game and we overcame it. Was it pretty? No. Was it on the last 5 seconds? Yes, but we got it done. We could have got blew out. Look what Drew Aller was like yesterday against a top defense on the road. He wasn't good at all. That's no disrespect to him or the Penn State Nifty Lions, but he just wasn't good. You know what I mean? He wasn't. They didn't push the ball. Like I said the last video, they only tried. They were the worst team to complete pass over 20 yards. I think they were like ranked 100 or something. They tried it like 5 times against UMass, which is a lesser opponent. They only completed it one time. You are who you are. And when you got a secondary like Ohio State who's locking that up, who locking all the short intermediate throws up, you have to test them deep. And when the running game wasn't working, you saw the result, man. It didn't look like a good day for him. But credit to him for keep fighting, credit to him for owning up, man. Like I said, I'm big on especially athletes having high character. He could have easily blamed, deflect, didn't show up, but he stuck in there. You could tell he was very emotional. The little bit I did watch, so but credit to him and Penn State, man. They're gonna be a tough. He's gonna be a good quarterback for them. I really feel that way. Like he's a high character kid. But Let's get back to the Buckeyes, man. Rushing, it was effective early. I think that's what really helped us, like stay on schedule. It helped us early, but man, it just all of a sudden, I don't know if Penn State was just kind of like, I don't know if the Ohio State was just. I know I will say Ryan Day got real conservative, uh, and he just, I mean, first down runs, they were stopping it. Like it was brutal. Like it seemed like they already knew the play before it happened. Guys were just cutting through the middle, slashing across our faces. Like we gotta stay locked in. We gotta stay disciplined, man, because golf. I mean, if Penn State would have scored, you gotta put a draw together. You know what I mean? And I just feel like our rushing attack, man, it's just not what I want to see. I wish it would get better. I think we can rush on good teams or solid teams, but we really need to get it going because a lot of teams are going to force us to try to run the ball. I know it's weird, but they're going to say Marvin Harrison and those weapons are not going to beat us. Can we push people around for the whole game? And I thought early on we did that. Like I thought we was running really good. And I'll get to the in the running backs. God, I don't know what they doing in practice. I see it with Travion, I see it with Mayan, I see it with Chip. Man, they miss so many holes. Oh my goodness. It's like it's so frustrating when you watching. It's like, dude, you have a crease. That's what it is. You have creases. That's how running backs operate. Plant that foot, get through the crease, plant your foot, get upfield. Too many bouncing on the outside, running towards the sideline. You taught that in Pop Warner, north and south in the vision. Oh my Lord, man. Mayan Williams. I don't want to be critical because I'm not the type of podcaster or reaction video, whatever you want to call me, but man, he missed so much food on the table with yards. Uh, he had 24 carries, 62 yards. He probably could have cracked 100 yards. I know for a fact watching that game yesterday, he missed so many creases. So did Chip Trainum. Like, man, he missed so many creases that they need to plant their foot and go north and south, man. The line is they open it up. They just don't see it, man. They don't know what's going on with the running backs in their vision, but we gotta get better. I've never seen a group of talented running backs just like not have vision. I just don't understand it, man. But I mean, they did okay. I think as far as pass blocking, they did excellent. I think we got one early on Chip, but for the most part, man, the offense, the running backs, they played their role. It wasn't pretty at all. I think the offensive line got pushed around late in the game, but Kyle McCord made some good throws. But I thought they were okay. I just feel like they got to see the whole. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a little murky, but the crease that they do got, we got to burst through them, man. We got to burst through them and get in there. That's what I like to see. Dallin Hayden, just give him a try, man, because it was a lot of food on the table for running backs. Either they were bouncing it or they were just missing their creases and going into the muck, man. Like you got to get those creases and make people miss. But I give them a solid day though. They were pretty consistent. They didn't fumble the ball. That's the big thing, no turnovers. But that running game needs to get back, man, because once it get colder in November, we got to have a solid running game. I'm not saying you got to be a big time runner, but we got to be better because it will help Kyle McCord, especially on play action so much. I just feel like we just haven't gotten a groove with our running. And, it's just we got to figure it out, man, because I don't want to be critical, but I think the running game would help Kyle McCord so much. On the other hand, Penn State, Nico Singleton had 9 carries, 48 yards. Katron Allen had 9 carries for 26 yards. Those were the two-headed monsters that where everybody talks about the two up and coming backs. Um, they've really been honestly underperforming this year. I thought they would have bigger years, but I thought Nick Singleton, he had a couple of big time rushes. I think his longest one was 20. I think that led to a field goal, and he was almost close to breaking it. Man, he has the speed to get it to run and break a long one, but uh, they didn't. I guess they didn't stick to it. You know what I mean? They didn't stick to it. They tried the bigger back to try to punish us, but it really I don't care who they had out there. Uh, they just wasn't gonna run the ball against that front seven. I'm sorry, not how they was blitzing and coming off the edge, and it was just too much. It was too much. So, uh, and that's what you need for a young quarterback. I spoke on Kyle McCord. You need that for a young quarterback like Drew Aller. It just wasn't working. Like I said, he dropped back and threw it 42 times. You can't have that on the road. You just can't. But excuse me. Get to receivers. Maserati Marvelous, man. That dude right there is special, man. He's a special talent. He's the real deal. No hating. Uh, can't hate on something like that, man. That dude is a real deal, man. I know it's other great big time receivers. I know it's other big time quarterbacks throwing him the ball. But Marv is special, man. You can just tell he's a special talent. His work ethic, his humbleness, his character. That dude is special, man. And if we just find ways to keep him active and keep him hot, give the ball to Marv in his hands. That dude is, man. He pretty much. I think he had a day of 11 catches, 162, one touchdown. He probably could have had 200 yards, probably 20 catches, honestly. Kyle Court missed him a bunch. He was open a lot. They didn't have an answer for Marvin Harrison. Both years, right? They had Joey Porter Jr. and Kalen King last year. They got Kalen King, number one defense, good secondary. It don't matter, man. What a day. What a day. What a player, man. That dude is just special, man. He's a special talent. I'm gonna hate to see him go. He's a special talent. Uh K Stover show came alive, big time catch down the seam, couple play action boots hitting him. He played very well. Like I said, Cade is one of those guys where he needs to get back, he needs to get better blocking. We know that. I've always said this, should be used when you need a play when it's like early in the game or late in the game, you got the lead, safety blanket. K shouldn't be used when you're facing a top 10 team or a top five team going into the play, trying to get the playoffs, and you're throwing him the ball. He's not that type of player. I love him, but his role yesterday, that's what you use him for. That's what you use him for. He's that type of player. When you need a first down, when you need a big time catch, when you up or he's been silent. He's that type of player. And I think he showed that he's a valuable weapon. I just don't want him using him in the red zone against a team that you need to score on. You give it to Marv, give it to Marv, give it to Marv. But other than that, K played pretty good. His blocking was suspect, but that's just who he is. I know people think yes, block. I look like blocking is a lot like defense for basketball. At least how I was taught. It's an effort thing. It's a will, but it's also a technique thing. And I don't think you can question his toughness. You cannot question his will. But I don't know if it's a technique thing. He doesn't move his feet. He doesn't know. He doesn't have a good hand placement. But he's just not a good blocker right now, And he can get better. It's about striking good days, but catching a ball, man, he got soft hands. He is tough, man, and he's from the round. He's from the same city that my dad is from, Mansfield, Ohio. So I'm a big K-Star fan, but he played a good role. Uh, Carnell, he probably should have had more yards, probably even a touchdown on that seam route. He's gonna be special. You could just tell. And I hate to say this about my boy Julian Fleming because I like him, but I think Cardinal Tate needs to start. I just really do. I think the offense would be so much deadlier. I think Kyle McCord is more comfortable throwing it to Cardinal Tate than Julian Fleming, to be honest with you. And I think he just would be. I think he, like I said, some players are good. Some players work they butt off. Some players work their butt off, but they also have like that it factor. And you don't know what it is. It's probably God given, but it's like, man, it's something about this kid or this receiver. They just have it. Marv had it. Garrett had it. He has it. You could just tell. He can play. He's not, he's learning. Obviously, I'm not saying put too much on his play, but I'd rather see a three receiver set with Cardinal Tate. You got stay K Stover, Marvin Harrison, and then once we get up Mecca, I just think it's just so much better, man. It's so more uh uh the offense will work so much more smoother because he just doesn't have it, man. And I know he's a 5-star number receiver. That's why stars and rankings don't matter. He can't get separation. Then he's not rangy enough or good enough or athletic enough to go make a big time catch or make a catch over people. He's good. He's a good, possession receiver, if you need to make a play here and there. But he doesn't have great speed. He's a tall, big guy, but it's just this is like his third year, I think, fourth year. And I once again, I'm not being critical on these kids. I'm not that type of person. I respect anybody who goes out there and puts their body on the line. So I'm not being trying to do critical. He's a great player, very good player, but he's just I don't feel like he fits Kyle McCord. I don't feel like every time they try to link up, it just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? Every time it just doesn't look right. But uh, other than that, Xavier, he was okay, but you could tell we miss Mecca. I think with a Mecca playing, that game is. I think we win. I mean, we already won decisively, but I think we win decisively easily. Just me personally, but the receivers had a good day, especially Maserati Marv, just a special talent. On the other hand, Penn State they just struggled, man. That secondary was brutal. That secondary is wicked, man. And I was with one of our top corners, man, but uh, they just really couldn't get separation, man. The quarterback was inaccurate and it just wasn't a good day. The leading receiver, Lambert Smith, he's their best receiver. I think he had 6 catches, 52 yards, as long as one 15 yards. I think the second half they tried to get him going, but it just wasn't there, man. And once we get you to a point where you're one dimensional, where you can't run the ball, you got to throw it. Like no first year quarterback a coach would tell you you don't want dropping back that many times. You want to have a consistent run game. Once you shut down the run, it just was brutal. But but yeah, man, that's something that Penn State will have to figure out next year. Got to get some weapons, man. Got to get some weapons. Uh, offensive line, like I said, I think early on they were physical up front. Like they were physical. Running backs was running hard. Couple miss holes in my opinion. But offensive line, I think Kyle McCord was only sacked like 2 or 3 times. That's good. I watched this Penn State team against Illinois this year, and they can get after you, man. And I will say they did lose I think their top chop chop. I think his name is Chop or something like that. Let me see if I can find him. Uh, Top Robinson, that's his name. They lost him early in the game. Prayers up to him. Hope he's be back this season. But I thought the offensive line played good. It was just Kyle McCord was missing. He was missing throws. I think sometimes he gets. I don't think he trusts his offensive line. But I thought they played pretty well. I thought early on they played well. Late in the game, their run blocking wasn't that good. But that's just you got to continue stacking days, stack days because man, we need a run game. We need them to be physical 1 through 4, and that they're going to have to lead us, especially in November when it get cold, bad weather. They're going to have to lead us, especially in Ann Arbor. They're going to have to lead us next week in Wisconsin because Wisconsin, I'm telling you, that's going to be a tough one. But that's another video for another time, man. Let's focus on Penn State because that was a big win. But that's all I really have to say, man. Offensive line, like I said, they did what they're supposed to do, man, and wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. They didn't, running game is the running game. They didn't give up too many sacks. They didn't look like they didn't belong. You know what I mean? And Penn State front seven is pretty good. So hey, I give credit when credit's due, man. Offensive line, they grew up. Hopefully, this leads to prepares them to get better and just continue growing, man. Getting stronger, getting better as a unit, and continue growing. But man, let's get to it. Let's get to the MVPs of the day, man. This is my segment. Let's get to it. That darn defense, man. That darn defense, man. It was just nasty, man. I just love that defense, man. Oh, it was just so fast and just dominant and just brutal, man. And we can say what we want to say. We look like that against Notre Dame on the road. We did that against a pretty solid Maryland team that has a lot of weapons. Now we did it again. I hate the narrative of are they back? I don't know. I don't know. Every week is, I don't know if they're back. Man, they're back. They're good. Will they give up some points at times, sometime of the season where it's looking like stuff is not, it's all misconstrued? Yeah, because they're kids. That's college. But man, the Silver Bullets are back, man. That was a defensive performance. This is a team, Penn State, who's averaging 30 plus points, throwing it around, running the ball, had 2 dynamic running backs. But man, that defense shut everything down. People always say, man, Drew Allard is overrated or he had a bad day yeah, you know why he had a bad day? Because the defense didn't allow him to look good. I hate that about these positions. I'll call them the Buckeye rules. It's only like this when Ohio State plays. Before we beat a team, they're gonna beat us. This player is good. When they don't show up and we beat them, it's oh man, they just had a bad day. Oh man, they just this, they just that. It's every excuse. It's just a Buckeye. The Buckeye rules. Drew Aller was a solid first year starting quarterback. He wasn't everybody. He was a 5 star. Everybody thought this was going to put Penn State over the hump because Sean Clifford was a starter there. Early on, everybody was saying, "Man, he looks the part. He looks the part. He don't throw the ball down the field, but he looks the part." Now, when we shut everything down, he's overrated. He's not that good. Well, they were overrated coming in. No, we made you look like that. I hate that narrative that's the sports world does. Just call it for what it is. They didn't think Ohio State was going to do this. They thought Ohio State defense was skeptical because now we saw that Notre Dame can't score against Louisville. They can't score like this. So I don't know if their defense is that good. But then when we do it again, it's a whole bunch of excuses of reason why Penn State's not good. No, man, he just went against a really good defense. And that's what happens. When you go against a really good defense on the road, things like this can happen. That crowd was rocking. And I just spoke about it, man. I want us to ride the wave of the crowd, man. And that's what that defense did. That was a performance, man. I don't even know where to start. That front seven was wicked. Nothing was working. JT, the boys, man. Ty Lee, Tylenol, Michael Hall, quiet games, but they didn't. I mean, they did their job. They didn't run the ball. You know what I mean? Jack played all right. Kenyatta Jackson played good. Tommy and Steele was flying around. Cody Simon was flying around. The secondary was just locking everything down, man. They competed on those type of plays. That's what you love to see. There was no throwing lanes. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. That was a masterpiece, man. I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm like every other fan, like, man, it's just, man, what is going on? Like, man, we got to do something. And defense, I know they good, but they ain't gonna hold up like this. Then I got to a point where it was like, man, we just scored. This game is over. Like they wasn't gonna do nothing. You could just tell. You could just tell by at least the third quarter, like they wasn't gonna do nothing on this defense. They were just too dialed in, too locked in. The speed, the athleticism, the talent in the back end. Igmignosa, the freshman who's gonna be special, Jermaine Matthews, Jordan Hancock was locking up. Then you got your two safeties that should be every Belinikov and should be up for All-American awards. Lathan and Proc, they locking stuff down. Like that secondary is nasty. And we did this all without Denzel Burke, who's probably the best player on the defense. Like that's how much talent, man. That was brutal, man. That was nasty. They were just nasty, physical to the point of attack, flying around, energetic, feeding off the crowd. That type of defense, man, that defense travels anywhere. We will always be in the game if our defense continue playing like this. I don't care who it is. Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Bama. If our defense can fly like this and make plays and compete, we will always be in the game. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. Defense, man. Get people off on third down. Be strong at the line of scrimmage. You will always be in any game. So credit to the defense. Jim knows, man. Never had a doubt. Been saying this for last year. The defense last year wasn't that bad. It was new. They were young. They were growing. They just had to learn how to compete and learn how to make big plays and when the time needed to be made. And as of right now, they're doing that. Stopping people on fourth down, getting off the field on third down. That's what makes up a good defense. And they're holding teams to no explosive plays. Sorry. That's Jim knows, man. That's Jim knows. And uh credit to him, man. That defense. Now let's keep it up. Season's not over. I'm not looking ahead. The season's not over, but as of right now, man, gotta love it, man. Gotta love what I'm saying from that defense. It was a defensive battle. Penn State defense played well too, but I also think that was a lot of our offense not playing and executing like they should. But credit to them, they played their tails off too. Um, and quick side note, man, I want to give credit to Ryan Day, man. I've seen I can't speak on Cooper era. I've been around for Trussell era, Urban. Now it's Ryan Day, man. One thing I will say, knock on wood, he be having them boys ready to play, man. When it's a big game, he has them boys ready to play. When it's a team that you should win, he had them boys ready to play and locked in. I respect that. His play calling may not be the best. Yes, we need to get better in red zone and short yardage. Yes, his play calling could be so much better. But man, credit to Ryan Day this year, man, because before the season, everybody, all these podcasters, especially in different teams, and especially even Ohio State fans, I'll be looking on Twitter. They thought this team would have two or three losses. They thought Notre Dame, they thought Penn State, Wisconsin. We don't know yet, and they thought Michigan. Right? They thought this would be a backstep for Ohio State, and that's why if you ever play sports, especially football, until that ball is kicked and it's game one, you don't know what the identity of this team is going to be because this team is very veteran. This team has been battle tested. Going against Georgia, that gives you the confidence. They should have won that game. Like that wasn't like a fluke. That was the Ohio State should have beat Georgia and won a national championship last year. You never know. You never know how teams can shape out. You never know the grittiness in team, the heart, the determination, the build, the character build in this team. And that's what this team is showing. No, they're not the Ryan Day team that's going to put up 40. They're not. But they're built like an Ohio State early 2000s team. Hard nosed, gritty, finding a way to win, competing on defense, and just finding enough plays on offense to make it work. And we got a dominant receiver. If we can get that running game, man, this team could actually win it all. I know it's far fetched because you're looking at Michigan, you're looking at Georgia and Alabama and Washington, but I'm telling you, defense travels. There's something that's to be said about this team. The grittiness of this team is going to give people fits. Nobody wants to be getting hit on and physical and all that for over and over and over, especially those teams that like to throw the ball. Trust me, we should know this. We should know this. When we were a quote unquote finesse team, a team that was physical, it gave us trouble. This is the truth. With credit to Ryan Day, man. I give credit when credit's due. I've always been a believer. People are always harsh, but man, I think Ryan Day's doing a heck of a job this year, man. I think he's this is the best he's coached. Once again he's learning how to be he's a young coach who's learning how to be a good coach one day. He's learning. And people are like, what you mean he's learning? Football is not always about X's and O's. It's about your how you connect with people, how you connect with young men. I think that's what made Urban so special and Trust was so special. Ryan Day early on was coaching like an NFL team. I'll worry about the X's and O's. Y'all go out there and play, and we'll come together on Saturdays. Boom. Now he's learning since Georgia, since that when he lost to Michigan, when they messed up. That should have been a game we won. He's learning how to connect with his team, connect with his players. The players are feeding off him, and you can tell. Watch out for the Buckeyes, man. I'm telling you. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be a homer. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen the rest of the season, man. But don't be shocked if Buckeyes like shock the world and maybe go to Ann Arbor and win. I'm not calling it. Michigan's looking really good, but I'm telling you, man, this team you can just tell they have a little it factor in them, like O2 vibes. Like they just find a way. Now, are they perfect? No. They got a lot of stuff to work on that can come back and bite them, but they've been playing good ball, man. But I'm just happy, man, with that win. It was a win that everybody counted us out once again. Like I said, man, we are the Ohio State. We do this. We've been doing this for the last 20, 30 years. We run this. Don't ever let nobody tell you different, man. I don't care who up and coming, who's supposed to be this, supposed to be that. Nobody's done it like Ohio State over these years, man. I always tell my friends, there's only three teams that can brag to me. Clemson, Georgia, and Bama, because they've been doing it for a long time. Other than that, I don't want to hear nobody else mess. Michigan's good, Penn State's good, Oklahoma's good, but they don't do it like we do it. We've been doing this. You know what I mean? So that's a little my little gloat, man. It's a long season. It's a good win though. Don't let nobody try to tell our fan base that's not a good win. That's a good win against a good team. So man, I'm just happy that we undefeated 7-0. We got another tough test on the road at Camp Randall, man. But that's a whole nother video. Stay tuned for this week analysis for the Ohio State and Wisconsin. But hey, man, that's my rant. This is Ohio State versus Penn State recap. I enjoyed the game. Hey, it was a great top 10 win. And let's keep stacking good days and keep getting better, man. Credit to all the players. Hey, man, keep grinding, keep working, and let's go be special this year, man. Let's do some special things. But Other than that, man, I'm gonna get out of here. This is another episode of Walks Buckeye Talks. To recap, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.